Welcome, welcome, welcome to
We're all a little bookish with my queen, Miss Lisa Marie.
and my girl Lindsey. Welcome, welcome, welcome to We're All a Little Bookish. Hi friends, it's Lisa Marie and my girl Lindsey. Lindsey? Lindsey. I'm just kidding, folks. It's a solo episode of just me. Lindsey's feeling a little bit under the weather, so you get moi. I hope you all had a wonderful week. I thought I would start by talking about last week, like we do in every episode. Last week was Valentine's Day, our Valentine's Day issue, or Galentine's Day. And I did a solo date. So on Valentine's Day, I took myself to Book Society, which I have visited before. It's a wine bar / bookstore in Berkeley, California. And let me tell you, the place was jumping. It was packed. And so I ended up sitting at the counter with the owner's husband, and I can't believe I didn't catch his name. We sat up there for at least a good 30 minutes talking all things books and wine. And so I kind of did a little mini interview with him. I asked him if his wife had to convince him about opening up Book Society. And he said, well, it took a little bit. I wasn't really sure about this books and something. And then when she said books and wine, I was all in. He actually was sitting at the counter studying to get his, and I'm going to say it wrong, sommelier level 2 certificate. And so I said, wow, you went all in. And he's like, well, yeah, we got to make sure that we're offering the correct wine for all of our customers and that we're getting the best price. We also talked a little bit about the wine box and how the response has been. And he actually said the response has been really good. And, I casually mentioned that, we here on the podcast thought it was a wee bit expensive. And he said that basically what brings the price up so much is the shipping expense, which is to be expected. And so I had suggested perhaps maybe offering another level where people could come into Book Society and pick up their subscription box. And he said that is definitely something that they should look into. But at this time, everything is done from the warehouse. And so none of the subscription boxes actually come into the store. But it was a wonderful visit. And after there, I left Book Society and headed down to 4th Street in Berkeley to a store called Top Drawer. And I went in search of a fountain pen. And I thought it was interesting. They have the most eclectic items. So they sell fountain pens. They sell house shoes or house slippers. And of all things, Paper Republic planners. So that was a fun visit. And so I actually bought myself a fountain pen that's called Dune. And I also purchased a Paper Republic pocket notebook. So those are my 2 little gifts to myself. And next door to Top Drawer was this great little bookstore that I had to stop in and just kind of see, what they had going on. So that was my little solo date for Valentine's Day. I hope you all had a wonderful Valentine's Day / Galentine's Day. And I would love to hear what you chose to do. So please feel free to go ahead and let us know what you did in the comments or in the DMs, or, record a message or send us a picture of what you did, because we would love to hear about it. While I was at Book Society, and the book I'm reading currently and I'm still working on is Eldridge by Carrie Lake. And this is book 2 in this series. And the first book was called Anathema. Anathema. I swear, these book titles get me tongue-tied. Tongue-tied. Saying that is getting me tongue-tied. So yes. And then I am also listening to His and Hers by Alice Feeney. And what's unique about that is one of the things that I binged this past weekend was I watched His and Hers on Netflix. And while I haven't finished the audiobook yet, I got to tell you, from the little bit that I have listened to, it is very different from the book. The Netflix series is very different from the book. But I got to tell you, I was locked in. And episode 6 is phenomenal. So there are only 6 episodes in the Netflix series, His and Hers. I feel like it was a nice, steady climb. But episode 6, hold on. It's like buckle in, you're going, and then you take off. So definitely check it out. And if you've read the book and you've seen the series, I'm very curious to know your thoughts on what you thought about the book and what you thought about the Netflix series. I did check in with Lindsey, and she is currently reading All Roads Lead Here by Mariana Zapata. And her book club, the Swifties, is reading the Graham Effect by L. Kennedy. So, I had to make sure I mentioned my girl Lindsey, that we're definitely missing her here. I was talking with Lindsey, and there was an email that came out from the Nerd Fam. I hope you all are familiar with the Nerd Fam. And they put out a PR request for influencers and all of us who love books to put out a PR request for the second book in which is the book 2 to When the Moon Hatched. And the second book is called The Ballad of Falling Dragons by Sarah A. Parker. I loved When the Moon Hatched, and so I am sure that I am bound to love The Ballad of Falling Dragons. And so there was a couple of us in the reading realm that also loved the series. And so, we put out a call. I was like, Lindsey, did you get in your application? And she's like, oh, yes, I did mine. And then we reached out to our friend Shelby and then Joanna. So there are 4 of us that have put in for a request. And so our hope is that at least one of us will get chosen, if not all of us. So fingers crossed. Let's hope we get that. And if not any of us, I hope one of you gets selected. So be sure to let us know, because we are interested and we want to know. So even though this episode is a little short because I'm doing it solo, I do have a question of the day, or maybe a discussion topic that I would love for you all to chime in on. And it is with regards to what defines a book club. So, and some would say, definitely Lindsey would say, this has been kind of my hill to die on. So I'm not going to give you my opinion. I think there are basically 3 formats to what people are calling a book club. The most common, or maybe the original, was our in-person book clubs, where it's 7 to 15 people who meet in person to discuss a book that they've all read. And usually there's a facilitator that has a list of questions or topics that they want to cover and kind of leads the discussion. Pretty straightforward. In my opinion, I think this is the most common, although probably a close second would be the next format, which would be an online format. Some are held via Zoom, some are held via TikTok Lives. A lot are being held by Discord. So it's where you can get pretty much an unlimited number of people together from different areas of the country, and you basically have a book club online where there still is usually a facilitator who kind of leads the discussion. You can have questions from everybody who's participating, and then you actually discuss the book. And then there is the third option, which people are also calling an online book club, which is Fable, is doing these book clubs via Fable. And it's interesting because I went on a quest to find out more about Fable book clubs. And when Googling about it, Fable book clubs, or Fable calls themselves a social reading app, which I thought was interesting. And it allows the participants of the book club to have a chapter by chapter discussion rooms where they can leave comments or quotes about the book and have a spoiler free opportunity to chat about the book, if you will. So I'm curious, I guess my first question would be, what is your favorite format of a book club? And do you prefer one over the other? And what are your thoughts on Fable being a social reading application? And does that meet the definition of a book club? So I am really curious as to what our friends think about that. All of our friends out there who are all definitely a little bookish, and what your thoughts are and how you feel about book clubs, and whether this format is a genuine book club. And then do you get something out of that book club? For me, and I said I wasn't going to give you my opinion, but I guess I can't help myself. My favorite part about a book club is getting to discuss the book, really getting to get input from different people's perspectives. And with reading a book, you all pick up on different things. And so, and there's definitely things that you could miss when reading the book that somebody else in the group might have picked up on. So my favorite part, except for getting taken away by a story, is being able to discuss the story. And sometimes, having some pretty strong opinions and strong discussions. And that is what I think really makes this whole process of reading and discussing books so much fun. So please don't be shy. Since I'm doing this solo, I'm really looking forward to your input and what your thoughts are. And we will engage via a little back and forth, because I will definitely be in the comments and commenting back and forth with all of you. So next week, Lindsey will be making an appearance. I'm sure she'll be feeling better by then. So Lindsey, we're sending you lots of healing vibes from all of us here in the We're All a Little Bookish community. And thank you all for joining me and giving me a little grace while I do this solo. So I hope you all have a great week, and we'll see you next week on We're All a Little Bookish. Bye, friends.